Yo YouTube, what's going on? It's HIGHMMA, and today we are discussing the most underrated fighters in the UFC for the second time since the channel has been made. But today it's not really the most underrated, it's more the most slept on fighters. Because these aren't necessarily prospects and shit I'm discussing today. These are just high-level guys that are getting counted out by everyone. Mainly super fans of certain fighters that just don't like them because they're another fighter's opponent. So today, we're going to be giving some respects to some villains, upcoming villains in the sport, if you want to call them that. So let's not fuck around. Let's get straight into it. Because the first fighter I want to talk about today is... It is Alex Pereira's next opponent, Khalil Rountree, a super fun fighter to watch. Since his Johnny Walker fight, he's become much more interesting, I should say. After that loss, he went to Thailand and picked up his heavy Muay Thai style that he has used since returning to the UFC. He did take a couple of losses after that, though, lost to a couple of stinkers, I'm not going to lie. But the thing about him is his Muay Thai is increased in skill massively. And he got that win over Anthony Smith, which was very impressive. But I don't really think that he's beaten enough top names for a title shot. Well, I mean, I think everybody thinks that. But it's not necessarily his fault he got a title shot. It's Dana's. Well, the UFC on a whole. But you can't just count him out and hate on him just because he's fighting Alex. Because the thing is, everyone's always got a puncher's chance. And Khalil Rountree really packs some power, and this is not me saying that he's going to beat Alex Pereira by any stretch of the imagination, but you just cannot completely count him out. Alex is 37 years old. I'm not saying that he's out of his prime because he looked amazing in his last outing, and I am picking him to beat Khalil. All I'm saying is you need to look at the fact of Khalil can still finish him. Alex Pereira has been knocked out cold before now. His chin, he's shown that he can be. Not that I expect him to be against Khalil, as I've said, but just don't say it's impossible. Because like I said with the Mateus Gamrot and Dan Hooker fight, there is just some fighters out there that are capable of causing an upset, and Khalil Rountree is one of them, bro. Like, he has vicious power, and Alex does tend to leave his guard a little bit open sometimes. Now, I know that's kind of his style, and that he does find knockouts fighting that way. It's just he can get knocked out that way. I don't want to see him get knocked out that way, but Khalil might do it. You never know. And I was impressed by his Anthony Smith fight, and I'm a huge fan of him, so he's made his spot in this video. Big up to Khalil Rountree. But let's keep moving through my list, because next up my pick is the #1 featherweight in the world, Ilia Topuria, and he's going to stay that way, motherfuckers. Listen, I'm sick of the Max Holloway glazers saying that Max Holloway is going to finish Ilia Topuria. I really don't think he's going to. Now, don't confuse my words, because I'm a huge Max Holloway fan. It's just his fans are delusional, and they seem to think that Ilia Topuria does not have a wide skill set. He's literally the most well-rounded fighter in all of the lower weight classes at the moment. Well, one of them. People forget, like, people say he's a boxer and he's a knockout guy. He has 8 wins by submission. He's 15-0, bro. And let's not sleep on the boxing either, because his boxing combinations are some of the slickest in the whole of the UFC right now. And he's had 5 wins by KO or TKO. And I think potentially he could TKO Max Holloway. I could see him pressuring him, getting him up against the fence, and just unloading combos to the body, to the head, until Max just can't take it anymore. You know, it could be a standing TKO. I know Max never goes down. But if anyone's going to put him down, it'll be Ilia Topuria. There were fucking Alex Volkanovski fans saying, no, he won't go down to Ilia. Look what the fuck happened there. Round 2 KO. Like I thought at the time. That was before I had my channel. Or else that would have been my prediction, man. Ilia Topuria will beat Max Holloway. He will be the featherweight champion for a long time. And even if he isn't, and I have my pick wrong, I know for 100% this man will be a danger in the featherweight division for years to come. And all of the recency bias towards Max Holloway has made people start sleeping on him. That is why he is in today's video. That is why he's in my list. Ilia Topuria, people. Nothing more I can really say. So let's move on to the next fighter I have chosen, which is Petr Yan. It was not a hard decision to put him in this video. I feel like he has been slept on a lot since he went on that 3-fight loss streak. But the thing about that loss streak is the initial loss to Sterling was fraudulent as anything. he won that fight. And given what the now rules are on knees to a grounded opponent, I'm pretty sure he should have won that fight. And if he did, he would have remained bantamweight champion. Never forget that. And on top of that, the Sean O'Malley fight has been called a robbery ever since it happened. I personally feel like Sean won, but you can't ignore the argument there for Peter Yan, and that just goes to show how high level he is. And don't forget, after that initial loss to Sterling, he still went out there and beat Corey Sandhagen, one of bantamweight's top contenders. And you just cannot sleep on him, man. Some of the slickest boxing in the UFC. And he's got some amazing kicks. He just knows how to mix it up really well. He's a very, very good, well-rounded MMA fighter. And I think that he should be getting into a title shot again soon. I think one more fight and he's there. And I think that one fight should definitely be against Davidson Figueiredo. Recently beat last title contender Marlon Vera in pretty dominant fashion. I don't think Marlon Vera won any of the rounds. I was super impressed with Figgy. I think he looks really good at 135, even for a kind of smaller guy for the division. And I think that he could have the potentiality to beat Peter Yan. He might be able to dominate the fight on the ground. I would pick Peter Yan by finish, but I think Figgy could also get it done. We will have to wait and see, because I doubt the UFC will book this fight, but I think they should. They were both champions at one point in time, and it would have been a sick champion versus champion matchup. They both still have champ material, not champ material. Well, they both still are champ material. So let's see them go at it. It could be one of the most amazing bantamweight fights you could make as of right now. So let's get it made and let's see it happen. Peter Yan versus Davidson Figueiredo. 2025 would be sick. But let's keep moving through my list of fighters, because the next one I've decided to talk about is Ian the Cook. The future Gary. Bro, this guy is so fucking hated, it's hard to put him in any videos. But he is an impressive fighter at 26, being the number 5th ranked welterweight in such a dangerous welterweight division is super impressive. And his frame isn't the best either, and he's a fucking vegan, so he's up against the odds, bro. And the fact that bro's got to deal with the emotional torture of his wife fucking every other dude on the street on the daily is crazy. I don't know why I'm rhyming, but Ian Gary impresses me. I like the way that despite his short reach, he uses leg kicks and just his overall length to keep the fight at distance if he isn't bringing it to the ground. And in the MVP fight, he showed that he does have a good ground game, showing that he is growing overall as an MMA fighter, and that as of right now and in time to come, he is improving rapidly. And I will be very, very excited to see what happens next for him, because, he's beaten Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, and MVP now. These are, Jeff Neal not as much, but they're impressive wins. A lot of people picked MVP leading into that MVP fight. I picked Ian Gary. I predicted that fight perfect. And I think that a perfect fight to make in terms of attention and overall hype is Leon Edwards versus Ian Gary. There's already some beef there. Leon kicked him out of his gym in the past before. Ian Gary is just a little wimp, so people love to jump on him and bully him. Leon Edwards does have a big fan base there. Obviously, the whole of the UK and everyone that became a fan of him while he was champ that hasn't left his fan base to go and be a Bilal fan since. I think this will be a sick fight. I think it is a very winnable fight for Leon Edwards. I think he would be able to figure out the distance management and the takedown attempts of Ian Gary. I don't think Ian Gary would be able to work out the crafty fighter that is Leon Edwards, and I think it would be a great way for Leon to get himself back into title talks, because he is nowhere near the end of his career either. I think this would be a sick fight, a good stand-up matchup, and I think there would be some grappling exchanges that would be very impressive to watch. People do sleep on Leon Edwards' grappling, and they also sleep on Ian Gary's, so I'd love to see this fight. Overall, this will be a very impressive MMA fight, and you know it, so stop fucking hating and just enjoy it. Next up, the final fighter of today's video. I am talking about, my next pick is Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, a very exciting fighter. He's got a cool style, he's got a great gas tank, and a great submission game. He really impressed me against Kopylov. That's what kind of put my attention on him. And next up, he's fighting Michel Pereira. And I think as long as he doesn't get Saints Row KO'd in the first round, he could outpace Pereira and lock him up into a nasty submission. Possibly in the third round, maybe, when Pereira starts to slow down. Anthony might just wrap him up, man. I think he is not on enough people's radars yet, and I think this next fight might really put him on some, even if he does lose. I think he will look good. I think this is a guy we need to take seriously. I'd love to see him just go on a cool title run, taking out some, like, hot other names in the middleweight division right now. I think a cool fight next after Pereira, if he wins, could be Paulo Costa. I think Paulo Costa is, like, on a bit of a decline at the moment. He's taken a couple of losses. He's ranked, like, fucking 8th. And if he beats Pereira, Hernandez is going to be in a nicer spot in the rankings. And I really do think him versus Costa is a super winnable fight for Hernandez. And I would pick Hernandez 100%. And I think it would put even more attention on him, because Costa is a well-known and very beloved name in the UFC. It's time to take some love away and give it to fucking Hernandez, because I feel like he is very, very slept on. But I'm going to leave today's video there, boys. I have a lot of plans for upcoming videos, though. There is an interview coming, man, with a Cage Warriors fighter. I know you don't believe me hearing this, looking at the subscriber count and shit, but it's coming. It is coming, bro. Trust me. I got some crazy plans for the channel. You got to click in now. You got to lock in now, so you're one of the OG supporters. You can't just jump on the hype train, guys. In the future, you got to be supporting from now. That's what I'm saying. So, you know what I'm going to say? You don't have to like. You don't have to subscribe. Do what the fuck you want, man. But I hope you have a good night, good day, good morning, whatever the fuck you're doing. And I'll see you all later. Peace.